What's up, guys? I'm going to explain the volume report type for options traders on edgeful here. So in this video, I'm going to break down how to use these volume reports as an options trader. So I'm going to start off, I'm going to stick to SPY in this video, and I'm going to stick to the trailing 1 year. And I'm just going to cover everything in the volume report type. I already made a video on the price action report type, and I'm going to make a video on the indicator report type. So make sure you look at those too, especially for an options trader. So I'm going to cover this one right here, volume and range by weekday. And what this shows is the average volume indicated by these blue bars and the average range by weekday. So you can see that there's a clear uptrend here going throughout the week in terms of volume and range, increasing. Mondays obviously have the lowest volume and range, and what that means is most likely to have choppy price action, not a lot of continuation, a lot of fake outs, and a lot of choppy garbage price action for low volume. The low range literally means the least amount of meat on the bone. So the least amount of opportunity because the high to low of the day is actually smaller on average. So literally less opportunity. Then you go later into the week, higher volume, higher range. So what that means is more continuation, easier price action to read, a lot smoother moves, and range being higher, which literally means more meat on the bone. More opportunity because the high to low of the day is bigger. So that means there's literally more opportunity for you to capture. So as an options trader, how do you use this? Focusing and trading on Mondays here is actually not the best environment for being long options or for buying options, especially if you trade 0 DTEs. So you want to align the way that you trade and the strategy that you have with the weekday, because they obviously, all the weekdays obviously have very different personalities. So Mondays, low volume, low range, choppy price action. As an options buyer, especially if you're trading shorter expirations, whether that's the Friday or the weekly, or anything shorter than that, not ideal environment presented on Monday for you to capitalize on. Whereas later in the week, a lot higher volume, a lot higher range. Now you can actually, there is some opportunity there. There is something that's going to juice up your premiums, that's going to allow those moves to actually push your premiums up. So Mondays are more for batting for singles and doubles, not for going for home runs, because Mondays don't generally provide that opportunity. Whereas later in the week, definitely days where you can hold on to your winners, hold on to some runners, and potentially days where you can go for those home runs because there's the highest volume and range on those days. So one example that I really like to use is to say you need to adapt your emotions and your strategy based on the environment the market presents. So what that means is, I'm just going to make an analogy now. So in the summer, you wear a t-shirt and shorts, and that works because it's hot out. And if that works for you, you do that all the way to the end of the year, and now it starts to get cold out, and now you're still wearing your t-shirt and shorts, but it's cold out. You're like, oh, this isn't working for me anymore. Now you need to put on your jacket and your pants. That's the same thing here, because volume and range on Mondays are low, and then volume and range at the end of the week are high. So we don't, as people, we don't control the weather, obviously. It's up to us to adapt to the weather, meaning that if it rains or if it snows or if it's hot or if it's cold, we need to adapt to that. The same goes for the markets. We need to adapt to the opportunities the market provides. A lot of people like to come into a Monday very eager after the weekend and the market's been closed. They want to come in, they want to have a great week, they want to have this big trade to start off their week. But Mondays don't have those opportunities. So understanding that Mondays have less opportunities, you don't want to start off your week coming in very eager when in reality the opportunities are later into that week. The other way to capitalize on this is as an options seller, Mondays are very well suited for you, because there is low volatility, low range, low volume, and if you're trading the 0 DTEs, that premium decays very, very quickly. So it's very easy to capitalize on this type of environment on those days, whereas options selling, probably not the best later into the week because volume and range tend to be higher, volatility tends to be higher, so the options that you sell are more likely to go in the money, which is not what you want as a seller. So as an options buyer, if you're buying calls and puts, just normally if you have a long or short bias, much better suited later in the week because the options actually will move with the momentum that the day is providing. So here's just an example of a low range day, more consolidation, more choppy price action, whereas high range is a much higher move, much more meat on the bone with cleaner price action to read. So that's that report there. I'm going to show you this one too, which I think is very interesting. So what this report shows is the relationship between the volume in the first 15 minutes of market open, so from 9:30 to 9:45, and the volume for the rest of the day. So this report gives you an instant insight within the first 15 minutes of the day. How is the rest of the day going to look? What you can see is the average 15-minute volume, so from 9:30 to 9:45 in the last year, is 3.9 million. So the average for the rest of the day is 61 million. So the way that you use this to say, if today has 6 million shares traded in the first 15 minutes, then that is higher than average volume. So how is that going to impact the rest of the day? We look over here. So you can see that the correlation is actually pretty strong between higher than average volume here and higher than average volume here. So a 0.5 correlation. And if we just even go to the 5-year here, let's just look at the 5-year. You can see there's a very, very strong correlation, a 0.8 correlation in the last 5 years. So the way that you use this is to say, I want to identify, is today going to be a low volume or a high volume day within the first 15 minutes. So in this case, let's just say volume is at 6 million today. Now you have a very strong understanding that the rest of the day is going to have a lot of volume. If today is 2 million within the first 15 minutes, now you can say with confidence the rest of the day is going to be much lower than average volume. So that's how you can use this report to understand immediately within the first 15 minutes what the rest of the day could provide in terms of volume. As an options trader, that is very, very important. You need to be looking at volume. Then the last one that I'm going to show you here is the volume trends. This is a little bit of a higher level report if you're a longer term trader maybe. But what this shows is the average volume by month. So you can see that July and August have the lowest volume on SPY of any month of the year. So probably because people are on vacation or whatever the reason, it doesn't matter. But there's likely going to be a lot choppier price action on these months. So you want to focus on trading the higher volume months, or you want to maybe be sizing up on the higher volume months and maybe sizing down on the lower volume months, or maybe pulling in your profit targets a little bit on the lower volume months like this. So that's how you can use the volume report type as an options trader on edgeful. And you can obviously look at the other ones. We have videos for all of the reports, so you can see right here. Any of the ones that I haven't covered, just make sure to watch that video. But specifically as an options trader, this is how you can look at the volume report type on edgeful. If you have any questions, reach out to our support right here and make sure to watch the other videos on price action and indicators as an options trader. All right, have a good one. I hope this helps.